Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane, and this is one of 5 sessions where we're going to work on our balance. So each day we will be doing, practicing some type of a balance, standing balance, mostly standing. And what is so important about balances are they require lots of core strength. I mean, it has a cumulative effect. So the more the longer you can hold a balance, or more secure holding a balance, especially the one-legged balances, you will feel, you'll know for sure that your cores are becoming stronger. Sometimes you might not see it. It might not visually make your clothes might fit the same. You still have like a little tummy roll, right? But it doesn't mean that your core isn't strong. We often think of aesthetically, if you have a 6-pack, then you're strong. But people with the 6-packs, the perfect washboard type of stomachs, don't always have very strong cores. So what I'm going to be teaching all week, or all 5 sessions, is about the abdominals. I mean, that's part of it, but a big part of it. How do we work on the center of the core, which are the abdominal muscles? We'll be working on 2 different, well, there'll be 3, but primarily today, we'll be concentrating on the transverse abdominis muscles. And those are the deep muscles that wrap around the spine. They protect your lower back. When they're weak, it often means that you're going to either have back problems, or you'll have back problems, pain, discomfort. Those are generally the ones that are very weak, but so are the ones that the 6-pack, the superficial, which is the rectus abdominis, and those are meant to help us they stabilize the whole body. So they're they're muscles that start at the rib cage all the way down to the pubis, and the front. And the transverse abdominis are the ones that are underneath and wrapped around, and they stabilize the lower back and pretty much the spine, the majority of the whole spine. Lots of information. I don't want to overwhelm you with it, but what we'll be doing today is concentrating on the deeper muscles, because once we get there, we can then take it further into the more superficial ones, which don't make them less important, but they are slightly less important than the transverse abdominis muscles, the deeper muscles. So lots of abdominal type work. But at the same time, you're going to be going into abdominal, and you'll be relaxing, going into some abdominal work, and then really relaxing. So it'll be this idea of contracting and being strong, and then releasing and softening. Those 2 that go hand in hand. So, and that's what we'll be doing today. And our mantra really is it's about rising up, rooting down and rising. Anything we do in yoga is all about rooting down and rising, rooting and rising. Our life is like that too, as well. We find our home, we feel safe, and then we rise up. So it's taking this practice, carrying it off the mat, living your life, going back and forth, constantly balancing, hence balance, going, having a safe place, a home base, to having something that's going out and taking risks, or trying something different, and then coming back again and rooting down. And that's what we do. That whole life is really spent doing that. And that's what balance is, having the balance between the 2. Okay? So let's get started. We're going to actually start on our backs. Once, come onto your backs, and you can stretch out long. Starting in a Savasana with the arms next to your sides. And I want you to just take a few deep breaths in and out, and notice where your back, your lower back, what happens to your lower back when you take a breath in, and what happens to it when you exhale out. Do this a few times. Let your eyes close here. This is our way of connecting to the breath, but also with these very important core muscles. And then that's... Now what we're doing throughout this class is we're concentrating on the middle of the core. Core is much bit longer. It starts at the collarbones and goes to the front of the femur and all the way back behind us. We're concentrating on the middle section. So around where the rib cage is and the pubis, but actually behind that. So that's the transverse abdominis. And I want you to work on drawing that the lower back into the mat. So drawing the belly button into the spine, that's what I meant to say. And that's to a few breaths in and a few breaths out. And notice how your rib cage expands when you're lying on your back like this. And as soon as, now bring your knees into your chest, as soon as you bring your knees into your chest, the lower back, where is it? It's right in, it's settled onto the mat. So you can feel it pressing down. Bring your forehead to your knees. We will be concentrating on this idea, and I'll show you in a second. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lower your head down. Place the feet down on the ground with the knees pointing up. Walk the feet as close to your bottom cheeks as possible, just to feel, you have to just make sure that you feel pretty stable, that your feet are supporting you. They're not too close, not too far. Place your hands behind your head. Elbows angle in towards each other. So they're pointing up to the sky. And what we're doing here, you're going to take a breath in, lift your head and shoulders off the ground, and immediately you're contracting these superficial muscles. I'll call them the rectal abdominis muscles. And then, holding the breath, lift your tailbone up, pause. This is where we start to work the deeper muscles. And then exhale, reach the elbows a little bit higher, bring your chin a little bit closer to your chest. And then inhale, just lower the tailbone down and come to the upper part of your shoulders. We'll do another 3 sets of these. What you're doing is you're taking a breath in, and then hold the breath, lift your tailbone up, and then exhale, elbows towards the ceiling, looking towards your navel. And then inhaling, lower down, and just come to the upper part of your shoulders. Pause, lift the tailbone up, squeeze the legs as if there's a block between your legs. Hold those belly muscles in, and then exhale, elbows reach towards the ceiling. And then inhale, lower the tailbone down, come to the upper part of the shoulders. One more time. Take a pause, lift the tailbone up. Exhale, elbows reach towards the ceiling. And then inhale, release down. All the way down. Let your head drop down to the ground. Hug your knees into your chest. It's just a gentle roll from side to side. Okay, lots of learning today because we need to understand what exactly is happening. So what we're doing now is you're going to bring your forehead to your knees again, round up like a little ball, as close to your knees as possible. Okay, that's the first step. Lower your head down to the ground. Keep your right knee into your chest. Keep your right knee into the chest, and extend your left leg onto the ground. Let the heel touch the ground, as if you're standing on the ground with one leg. Okay? And this is called a pike, or what's another word for it? Anyway, it's some. I'll think that one. I'll try and remember the exact name, but I'll call it a pike. Bring your knees in a little bit close, that right knee in, and bring your forehead to your knees. Now, what's happening is you're contracting those tummy muscles. You're creating you're pushing through the upper back and chin to chest. Now, the next step is to keep the knee as close in as possible and release the hands from the legs and reach the hands forward. Some of us might say, this is hurting my neck, so please feel free to take one hand behind the head to support it.
And then keep the knee where it is. Breathe in and reach both hands if possible. Reach them behind you, but in line with your shoulders. You want to be able to see those arms in your peripheral vision and flex those hands. I know this is tough. I have to admit, I find this tough. Head down to the ground, hug your knees into your chest. Ha. So what we're doing is we're creating a contraction, what they call bracing, and that strengthens those muscles. Actually, strengthens both those abdominal muscles we're talking about. Come back into a little ball. Bring your forehead towards your knees again. You might find you can actually bring them even closer. And then just keep your left knee into your chest. Place your head down for a moment. Extend your right leg down to the ground. You're standing in this shape with the knee up towards your chest. Now, bring your head up. Always feel free to support it with one of your hands if you need to. Bring it higher. And then release the hands. Keep the knee as close in as you possibly can. Forehead is close. This is requiring a lot of different muscles. And then bring your arms up to the sky and then back in line with your ears. And you can flex the hands here as if you're doing this is preparation for a handstand. But we're not doing a handstand. Don't worry about it. Hug your knees into your chest. When you're starting out yoga for the first time, or you're relatively a beginner, you don't want to, you will not do handstands. You'll learn the basics and then work your way towards it. And you might or might not at some future date do that. Let's roll all the way up. Come up nice and tall. Extend those legs and let's stretch over those legs. In order to balance, we need strong legs and we need strong core strength. Two of the major things that are necessary, and that's what we'll be working on. So sitting up nice and tall, coming back up, crown of the head lifts, and then cross your ankles, come onto your hands and knees. And once on your hands and knees, press back into an extended child's pose with your arms reaching forward, as if you're trying to touch the top of the mat. You can't quite get there. Spread the fingers, pressing into the index finger and the thumb. Spreading the fingers out, create a fan with your hands. And breathe in, and as you breathe out, lift into your tabletop. Slide the hands back towards you so that until they're underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Now, cat and cows today are going to be slightly different. The cows are the same. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you. The cat stretch, we're actually going to concentrate on the upper back today. Dropping your head and rounding up through the upper back, leaving the tummy. You're still pulling the tummy in and up, but you're concentrating on the upper back as if that is where you want the majority of the rounding. Think of a hunchback. Drop your head and then inhaling into your cow stretch. This is a release. Open up the heart, arch your back. This should feel really nice. Now we're going to go back into that cat shape. Drop your head. Explore the idea of hunchback. So that means your upper back has to be extra rounded. You're pulling up through your tummy muscles. Now what you're going to do is bring your left knee in just a little bit closer to your right and bring your right knee in towards your forehead, just like we did on our backs. Try and get your forehead as close to your knee. It's not going to be as easy. Don't worry if you can't do it. Breathe in and keep pulling up through the belly, through the upper back, chin to chest, and then lower down. Whew. Press back. Just one full breath here. Keep the arms active in your child's pose. Breathe in and breathe out. So a whole week of toning our tummy muscles. Okay,
come back into your, and learning how to, and balance, which will help us. I'll go into a week what the benefits of balance is. Now come back into your cow stretch. So tilt your tailbone up, lift your heart, opening, that's your release. Then exhale, come into your cat stretch, upper back rounds, hunchback. Belly still pulls in and up. And then bring your left knee in towards your forehead. See if one knee it seems to be easier or a little bit closer than the other, for whatever reason. Breathe in, keep this, hold this, hold this, hold this, hold this, and then lower that left knee down, and then inhaling into your cow. It's a powerful, powerful strengthener, abdominal strengthener. Just sit back to your heels for a moment, circle your wrists. If you want a little extra, feel free to curl the toes under so you can stretch out those toes. Circle the wrists in a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Then come back into your all fours. Press back into an extended child's pose. Some of us will stay here or come in and out of this pose. Others will follow me into downward dog with the knees bent or slightly soft. Let's take a few. Take a few bends and straightening of the legs. So bend one knee and straighten the other leg. Go back and forth. Breathing in and breathing out. So this is called pedaling the feet. Keep it bending and straightening. Okay. Let's take a breath in and let's press into the tailbone. Lift up nice and tall. Now, either coming back onto your hands and knees, if you're doing this as a beginner, obviously you're going to bring the knee in and step your right knee forward on your hands and knees. Otherwise, I'm doing this in my downward dog. Inhale your right leg up to the sky, or on your hands and knees like we just did before. And exhale, bring your knee in towards your forehead. And if you're in the downward dog, come onto your left toes and keep bringing that knee in a little bit closer, and then step your right foot between your hands. Lower that left knee down. Let's heel toe that right foot a little bit to the left, straighten that right leg, fold over that front leg. And you can use blocks here. I'll get blocks to show you. And then take a breath in and rebend your right knee. Curl the back toes under, lift up. You can do this on your knees or off, and then lift all the way up to standing. So this is a starting of a balance. Again, that left knee can be on the ground. Reach your arms up to the sky. Now, bend the elbows. And what you're going to do here, open up the chest very much. This is the shape of the cow, so more of a release. And then an exhale, you're bringing the elbows in towards each other, thinking that same shape you're creating if your knee was up towards your nose. The upper back is there's a little hunchback, it's hunching over. Pull the belly in towards the spine, and then inhale, open the arms. Let's do that one more time. Fold forward, hunching. Too much, then take a breather, go into a child's pose for a breath if you need to. Inhaling, opening, and then from here, you're going to step your left foot forward, come into your standing position at the front of the mat. Just shake your arms out. Let's do a few sun salutations, half sun salutations. Take a breath in, reach your arms up. Let's exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway. So the halfway is where you push your hands into your shins and you're literally halfway up. And you're looking wherever your eyes meet the ground. And then you exhale, forward bend. And as you come into a forward bend, pull up through the belly, drop your head. Then as you inhale, press into the shins, the belly softens, and then the back, you create a table
tabletop with your back. Exhaling, forward fold, and that's inhale. Sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. Reach, 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 reach. Hands float down to your heart. Okay, take an inhale, lift up, and let's exhale, forward fold. Let's take a breath in halfway, and let's exhale, step back into your downward dog, or feel free to come into your extended child's pose. When you're first starting out, your wrists often can't cope with with too much of downward dogs. It takes a while to strengthen those wrists. So that's not abnormal to take a few years actually until you can do a lot of downward dogs or hold for long periods of time, but well worth it. Take a breath in from here, from downward dog, or your hands and knees. You can bring your knee in and step your left foot forward. Otherwise, downward dog people, follow me. Right foot in towards your left foot. Inhale your left leg up to the sky. Now, come onto the right toe, so you're lifting that heel up of that right foot. Bring your left knee in towards your forehead. Round up, those on the knees are doing the same thing, but with the knees, right knee on the ground. Keep rounding, 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 and then step your left foot forward. Or help it. If it's not moving if it doesn't move very far, then help it. But with time, it will, once the core becomes stronger. Okay, we're in a lunge. Take heel toe that left foot to the right a little bit and fold over that left leg. Use blocks if you need it on either side. Fold over. And then take an inhale, come back into your lunge. You could stay here with the knee on the ground or pick that knee up. And then lift yourself, come all the way up to a high lunge. Make sure the feet are not tight roping, they're hip distance apart. Reach your arms up. That's flex the hands so they're pointing, spread the fingers so they're pointing forward. Elbows are in line with your shoulders, cactus shape arms. This is an opening of the chest, cow stretch. Exhale, bring the elbows in. Now come back to that shape, pull the belly in, engage those muscles. Engage all those muscles, and then inhaling, opening, then relaxing, releasing, and then exhaling, contracting. Keep doing it, come on. Chin to chest, breathe in, and as you breathe out, let's step forward to the front of the mat, let the arms, just shake the arms out, shake the legs out. Little wiggles of the hips. Okay, I can feel my heart. Whew. Okay, now let's do half a sun salutation. Inhale, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold all the way down to the ground, or again, blocks. Not all of us can touch the ground. That's perfectly fine. Hands on the shins, bend the knees if you need to. Take an inhale halfway, push into the shins, and then create that tabletop. Exhaling, forward fold, and you might need to actually bend the knees and place your hands on the thighs. And then from here, take a breath in, and I want you to roll up. It's called ragdoll roll. Let the arms dangle. Keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. Maintain that humpback shape until finally, the very last thing, you lift your head up, and then bring your hands, just squeeze them behind your back, opening up the chest. And then release the hands. And then we're going into a balance. Okay, what you're going to do is you'll root down with the left foot. I have to show you the side version because it's hard to see it front. And lift your right knee up. So feel free to always put a hand on a wall if you need to. If you can grab hold of that shin, do that. So you're imagining you're on your back again. Bring your forehead to your knee. Create that shape, that cat shape. Keep round. I don't care what happens to the right foot. You can flex it if you want, or just leave it as is. And then either keep the hands on the shin or reach your arms up as if you're doing a handstand on the wall, on the ceiling. Flex those hands. Tough, I know this is tough. Keep going. Keep going. So I teach this live as well. So my live people, you keep going too. Keep going. And then from here, hands to heart, step your right foot back into a lunge. And then just take your hands behind your back, interlace and open up your chest. And then release the hands, shake it out, and then step your right foot back and shake out your legs. Okay. Lots of instruction today. Okay, we have the other side, other leg. Right foot is the standing leg. You're picking your left knee up into your chest. Feel free to help get a little assistance from a wall or a chair. Bring your knee in towards your forehead. Come into that shape, that hunchback shape, chin to chest. Okay, so if you fall a little bit, that's okay. I can show you falling for sure, easy. And then if you can go further, release the hands from the leg, but keep the knee up as high as you can. And reach your arms up to the sky. Flex those hands. Keep holding. This is tough. Tough. And then take a breath in. And then step your left leg back. Come into your lunge. Either hands on your lower back or interlace the hands. And let's open up the chest. And then shake it out. That's place the hands on the ground. Let's step back, downward dog, or that extended child's pose. And lower your knees to the ground. Press back, everyone in a child's pose, just for one breath. So actually, getting back to basics. So even if you're not new to yoga, it's coming, I find, and I'm a teacher, I need to so often revisit the basics. And this is a basic exercise for strengthening our muscles, our core muscles, so we can do so much more, but specifically balances, standing postures. Reach your arms forward. You can pretend you're holding a huge ball, a beach ball between your arms. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, I want you to roll down. Pull the belly in. This time, let yourself scoop a little bit more. So this is the shape we've been working on, all the way down. And then reach the arms away from the legs. Let your chest open. Allow your lower back to lift off the ground. It should feel nice on your back. And then hug your knees into your chest. So it's all worth it. And some of this is you're like, oh, can I do this? Well, if you continuously work on these things, they actually, after a while, open the arms out to the sides, drop your knees to the left into a spinal twist. Turn your gaze to the right. You can lower the knees a little bit lower towards your hips, or even lower than that. If your right shoulder seems to lift off the ground, close your eyes. Little and often, that's what my motto is. That's what these yoga classes are. And before you know it, you're like, oh my God, I can do that, or I can do other things that I didn't think I could do. Even other forms of exercise. You'll end up with more stamina. Give your knees, get another hug, maybe forehead to your knees again, like we did at the very beginning. And then open the arms out and let the knees drop to the right. Shoulders resting on the ground. If not, then slide the legs down further towards the bottom of the mat. We live in a culture where everything's very fast and we want things now. And we're all like that, most of us, including me. But you learn that the things that take time are the things that will last. And one more hug, And then extend your left leg to the left corner of the mat, right to the right. Let the arms open up out to the sides just a little bit, not too far from the sides, palms facing up. Chin slightly tucked. Allow your whole body to melt. Now you can root down. So the rooting and rising is we're rooting now. We're just letting it all melt, melt, melt into the earth. Nothing more to do. For this moment in time, you're just here for the next 3 to 5 minutes. And as you continue in your Savasana, which is called the final, it means the final resting pose, I'll come up to seal our practice. The resting at the end is very, very important. For those YouTubers, you can always feel free to turn me off and then stay there. Just to remind people that if you, I do continuously record my classes, so feel free to subscribe so you'll always get, and there's a little button on the right-hand side that you will get indicators or letting you know when I have a new video out, which is probably 2 or 3 times a week at least, sometimes more. And you know, comment and thumbs up, all those wonderful things. So that I know what your needs are. I'm not just doing this. I want you to do what's best for all of you guys. So thank you for being with me as I bring my hands in front of my heart. This is Rebecca Jane from Yoga with Rebecca Jane. Have a lovely, lovely day or evening, whatever time it is for you. Namaste, everyone. I'll see you soon.